place. I need you guys to eliminate distractions, turn your cell phone over. I need you guys to get out notes, right? Because you learn and you retain when you're taking notes. And I need you guys to really zone in right now. Today is about understanding our mission. Today is about deepening your passion and your conviction about our crusade and what it is that we do. You guys, today is really about what we say, how to take it from, logical, how to take it from your head and put it into your heart. If you've been struggling with your mission here at WFG, if you've been struggling with creating a vision outside of yourself, creating a vision for your community, creating a vision for your world, for what you could do with this opportunity. If you just came into this opportunity thinking that you just want to get licensed and go and make a little bit of money, you've really, really underplayed this opportunity. And so I wanted to bring this speaker to us today because I personally work on and struggle with vision myself. And this individual has stretched my vision beyond capacity. Thank you. And so you have an opportunity to hear from someone today who not only has put a mission in place, but is a huge visionary. So I want to introduce our guest speaker. He is, take notes on this, you guys, because this is incredible. This introduction is incredible. So he has a bachelor's degree in physics with an electronics emphasis. He has his MBA from San Francisco State University. He has a PhD in biomedical engineering from Liverpool University, right, in Europe. He was a Silicon Valley executive in the medical devices space with over 20 years of experience focusing on the design and manufacturing of devices that go into people, right? Like pacemaker kind of devices. So for those of you who are like, you like, who should I recruit? Let me tell you guys, the best people to recruit are the people that have a big vision, that are making multiple six figures, that are looking for a business opportunity, as Dr. Kwende was. 12 years ago, he started with WFG. He is now Senior Executive Vice Chairman with WFG. He's now over $2.3 million earner with our company. So just in 12 short years, you guys, has crossed over $2.3 million. But even more than that, he has now built a growing, and I do mean growing, team of successful leaders in the financial industry that are now impacting thousands of people, right? Because what do I always tell you guys? Each one, reach one, teach one. We can't do it all on our own. That's why recruiting is such a big deal, because not only do you get to change other people's lives through the opportunity, but then you have a whole army of people who are changing people's lives. Some of the people on his team, Emmanuel Tita just crossed over 1.5 million. Levi Mboni just crossed over 2 million. Daniel and Linda Fambo on his team just crossed over $5.3 million in income. And I haven't even scratched the surface on the leaders that he is creating and developing in his team. And here's his vision, you guys. He has recently co-founded and is managing partner of the Global Impact Accelerator Corporation. His vision, talk about a big vision. His vision is to create an ecosystem for entrepreneurs to leverage knowledge, skills, and tools to create impactful companies focused on the African diaspora. His ultimate vision is to help the African diaspora create generational wealth through financial empowerment and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, a visionary, an entrepreneur, a leader of leaders, my friend, Dr. Martin Kwende.
Wow. Nikki, thank you so much for that super kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today?
Awesome.
So
glad to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Great. Could you please put this down real quick? Let me see the people, right? Because this is what it's all about. But that was a super awesome introduction. I would really appreciate it, Nikki. We've become very good friends in the business, and I really want to appreciate you, right? You're one of the leaders that I absolutely look up to. I know in many different things we work together, like excellence, whatever. And every time you guys are so blessed to have a leader like Nikki, right? She's full of action. She's like, hey, let's get it done. Boom, and she makes things happen. So I've had an amazing, amazing experience with Nikki through everything that we've done together. So Nikki, I wanted you to know that I really, really appreciate you, and I, admire everything that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank
you.
You
have an amazing team, obviously. And for you to invite me to speak to your team, I don't take that lightly. It's a huge honor. I want you guys to know that, right? Obviously, you know your leaders. You won't invite just anyone to speak to you. Does that make sense? So I'm excited that you guys are in the business, right? All of us together, we have the power to make a difference in our own communities, right? Sometimes we're waiting for people to come from outside. That's never going to happen. We kind of learn about that the hard way. But once you understand it, guess what? You have to step it up so we can make things happen in our own communities. So I'm excited to be part of this company, right? Obviously, I grew up in Africa. And one of the things that I was told growing up was that, you have to be, you have to study, right, to get wealthy. That's what I was told. I don't know how many of you by show of hands were told stuff like that. You have to have some degrees to get a good job, right? So I did all of that. And I did pretty good, by the way. I did PhD at the age of 25, right? Then I worked in Europe for a couple of years. Then they told me, hey, if you want the dream, you have to go to the United States, right? That's where they have the American dream. So I came here. How many of you were born here, real quick? Good. I'm assuming you guys are living the American dream then. For most people, that's not even true. Does that make sense? So we came from outside for American dream. Some of you were born here, you still don't have the dream. And I'm wondering, like, what's going on, right? But I started questioning, what was going on. And somebody led me to the answer. And that answer changed my life and the lives of a lot of people that I know. You guys have exact access to the answer. I don't know if you take advantage of it though. Right? You guys are right on the answer, but I don't know. Excuse me. How many of you right now feel like you're living the American dream? Wait. How can you be in the dream and not be living it? You guys know you are in the dream right now. You guys have the answer to the American dream. What if I show you exactly what that dream is? Who wants to know? Good. What if I told you that after today, your life is going to be very different? Even though it's already different, but it's like some of you are still missing it. Listen, I like to be interactive when I talk, okay? So feel free. I'm going to ask questions if you are comfortable, let me know, right? So let's not make this too serious. Nikki said you guys are fun bunch. I'm like, okay, let's have some fun. Okay?
We will have fun.
Yeah, because if you don't have fun, you're not learning. It makes sense. So don't be too serious. I'm a fun guy, as you can tell. I like to laugh and live life. There's one life we all have to live. Is that true? So somebody led me to the American dream, and that changed my entire life. So I like to share my little story with the hope that it can impact you. That makes sense? So Nikki talked about the crusade. But what's the crusade? It's really about what? Help you to make it different. You guys realize that each one of us is an answered prayer to each other. Is that correct? All the gifts and talents that we have is not for us, it's for the people that are around us. Is that true? But until you give what you have, you're not going to get what you need. If you keep the stuff that you have, you're not going to get more. But if you give it away, then you're going to get what you deserve. Does that make sense? So it's a little trick that we usually don't know. I'm going to share my little story just so it can inspire you a little bit. And you're going to see why, this company is super, super powerful for each one of us. Good? So, Nikki, I'm hoping that I can share my screen. Is that correct? Yes, I can. Good. Thank you.
Yep.
So I like to use slides because it keeps me on track. That makes sense? And I think Nikki said at the end, we're going to have some Q&A. So if you have questions as I'm going, just put it together real quick, right? So I'm in business with my beautiful wife, Adeline. Right? She's a registered nurse with a master's in nursing, right? When I met her, we kind of got together, we got married, and I already had a PhD, so I thought, hey, we're about to live the real American dream, right? She and I made about between $400,000 and $500,000 a year already. And we thought like we made it. right? So we had the life, bought homes, whatever, right? But what I started noticing is that something was not even right. But I told you this already before. When I came to this country, my growing up, they were saying, oh, study and get rich, study and get rich. So I did that faithfully, right? So Nikki already told me, but this is my education right here. I have a bachelor's in field electronics, I have a PhD in biomedical engineering. I came to the US, I said I need more education. I did an MBA as well, right? Because of this educational background, I had a pretty good career. So I got to have a family. I have 3 kids right here. My oldest on the right is 16, then the other one on the left is 14, then my daughter is 11. What I started noticing, however, is that every time I wake up in the morning, I take 2 kids to school, my wife takes 1, then we go to work. And we pick them back up. Then they do whatever they have to do. And the next day, the same thing. I'm like, where's my time? So I started questioning the American dream because I had no time. I made good money. I love what I did, but I didn't have any time. That makes sense? And that's when I learned the American dream, like finally. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to laugh because you heard it before, but you didn't pay attention. This is all that it is. It says, think and go rich. Now, this is a challenge. Most of us work so hard to put food on the table, we don't have time to think. Because if you think, Michael, a lot of stuff we do, we will not do. Makes sense? Like, seriously, we're so busy working, we don't have time to think. You guys know this is a title to a book, correct? By Napoleon Hill. How many of you have actually read this book and done exactly what it says to do? Because if you do, you're going to be rich, for real. You guys have the book, you've read it. In fact, I keep my copy very handy. I show it to everyone because you guys should know that this is my copy right here. It's sitting right in front of me all the time. It says to think and grow rich. Almost every successful person in this country has read this book and they follow exactly what it says. If you don't like to read the whole book, I think it's page 26 or something. It gives you 6 steps to become rich. How many of you are allergic to wealth on this call right now?
Did you say allergic?
Yeah.
I have no allergies.
I hope not, right? So this is what this book made me start to do. I started questioning what I was doing, right? Now, this is the key. When I grew up, they told me that there are 5 career areas that I could do. Science, engineering, medicine, politics, other and then money. Now, money means business owners. That makes sense? But they also told me that if you are considered smart, you're probably going to do one of the first 3. Science, engineering, and medicine. To be real, if I poll the people that I hang around with all the time, about 90% of them will be either in science, engineering, or medicine. I don't know about everybody on this call right now, but if I did this with the people I normally hang around with, 90% of them will be in the first 3. But that made me start to question. If the smartest people amongst us are in science, engineering, and medicine, who do you think is left to do politics and money then? I call them the not so smart ones. But do you realize that money people and politicians connive to create the laws that govern you and I? So when they mess it up, we complain about it. Think there was COVID, and I'm not political in any way, but your president made masks political. And then boom, we had a serious problem on our hands. You guys get it? And we can blame them all we want, but we basically walk away from it and we keep blaming them. So do you know what I did? I quit science, engineering, and medicine, and I went into money. Because I figured if I control money, guess what? I control politics and everything else after that. If our community controls money, guess what? We control politics and everything else after that. So if you are sitting here right now, you think you're pretty smart, you need to think again. If we control money as a people, as a community, guess what? We're going to control policy and then everything we can control after that. Then I learned something very tiny from Warren Buffett. He said something very powerful. This is the way I put it in my own words. He says, if you have a license in any area, you always work for someone that has a license in money. I was like, wow. So I went and got my money license. But what does that really mean? I like to use this simple concept here. It's called banking concept. All of us have a bank account, correct? But I want you to think, when you give your money to the bank, guess what? They do mortgages, they do loans, credit card, whatever they do. Now, typically they pay us like 0.001%. That gets me so mad, I can't even put it on the screen. So that's why I put 0.1%. But if you put your money in the bank, let's say they pay for 1%, I borrow your money, they charge me what, like 10% or more. But just do the math. 10 divided by 0.1, that means the bank is making 100 times on your money or my money. How does that really feel? Then they're going to do that to your siblings, to your friends, and to the entire community for generations to come. I was so pissed. I was like, oh my goodness. When I came to the US, I was so naive. I thought everything is nice and fair, right? And then I saw this. Then my friend is like, calm down. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, it seems to me like you don't understand the financial system in this country. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, people that know this system don't put their money like this. I'm like, so what do they do? This is what he said. He said he can legally skip the bank. I was like, what? I said, so how come nobody ever told me before? He said, well, there's a little secret you don't know. He said, every state in this country issues a license for anyone that wants to share this information. And unless you have that license, you cannot tell this to anyone. You know what I told him? I said, I want to share this with all my friends and family. He said, great, go get the license. 7 days, 2010, I went and got the license. And I started sharing. Do you guys realize that this is all we do, by the way, as a business? We show people how to skip the bank so your money can start working for you. Nikki's money can work for her. My money works for me. Think about that entire community. Everyone starts to make more money on their money. Do you see how we can enrich our communities together by ourselves? That's our entire business. And then he told me that, hey, let me give you a little secret. He said, what if I told you that out of the 10% in this example, you could have your client get 8 and you get 2? It's like, wow, that kind of makes sense, like real estate, right? So this is how we get paid. You guys know all of this. You help someone skip the bank, they make 8%, you make 2. But guess what? If I help 100 people, everybody gets 8% in the community, but I get 2% on 100 people, what do I make? 200%. That's why this company pays me personally right now over 100 grand a month just for teaching this. You guys realize the power that you and I have to change our community just by learning something this simple. Yes? Now, people go like, but what exactly does that mean? I want you to think it's very simple. Most people use 3 financial accounts. Look at the top: bank, 401k, brokerage account. If you look on the leftmost column, there are 8 benefits. You guys know all of this: tax-free distribution, growth potential, market, whatever. But if you look at this way, the bank only gives you 3 out of 8 benefits. Now, how many does a 401k give you? 1. Do you realize that 90% companies issue 90% of their employees a 401k that only gives 1 benefit out of 8? How awesome is that? And then you say, oh, I'm going to go trade stocks. Boom, 2 out of 8 benefits. Question. If this is your portfolio, look at the X's. X here, X, X, X. How exciting is that, this portfolio? Do you realize that most people in our community, this is all they have? When I saw this, I was like so disturbed. I'm like, man, this has to change, Okay? So this is what they told me. They said there are 2 key accounts you can offer that can make this totally different, right? You guys know all about this. FIA and IUL, just to keep it simple. The FIA is an option to the 401k, 1 benefit to 5. The IUL is an option to everything, okay? It's 8 out of 8 benefits. But guess what? Most people that you know in our communities have never heard about the FIA or IUL ever before. Why? Because they don't talk to anyone that has a financial license. In fact, I used to have a financial advisor when I married Price. That's what actually even got me talking about money. I used to go there and they tell me stuff, but they didn't answer all of my questions. And I was fortunate that I met Eric Olson. He explained this, it made sense. That's how I started getting interested. Then I discovered that there were tools that are available to you and I, to our community, that no one is talking about. Why? Because most people that go to church, Schwab, Smith, Barney, all of those people, they learn this stuff, but it's not you and I. When I used to go there, I didn't used to see people like you and I, and I'm asking myself, where do we go? So I got on a crusade, Nikki. I said, I have to change this picture right here. That's what got me into the business. Showing our people how to skip the bank, the 401k brokerage account to go into FI and IUL. That's it. That's what I mean when I say to skip the bank. Does that make sense? Now, when I show this, this is kind of funny. When I show this to anyone, I get 4 types of responses, 4 only. I'll show you real quick. Okay. So number 1, they go like, hey, I don't trust you. I like the bank more. I want them to keep all of my money and the interest. Does that make sense? I'm like, awesome. You are the one that God said you're going to be broke. And then person number 2 says, hey, if they're making some money, at least they should give me 8% and keep the 2. I'm cool with that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make you a client. Does that make sense? And then person number 3 says, hey, I like to make some money on my money, but you tell me you make a lot of money. Guess what? What if I introduce my friends and family to you, but I don't want to do what you do? I'm like, no problem. I have a program called a silent business partner. You still need to get the license, but you don't have to do what I do. You introduce your friends and family, I help them, you and I split the 2%, you get one, I get one. They're like, cool. Right? Person number 4 says what? I like what you do, I want to help the community too. So I make them my business partner. These are the only 4 options that are possible. So I don't care what they pick. The only thing I don't like if they pick is number 1. If they pick number 1, I'm running away from them. But anything else, I'm good. You guys get how simple this is? This is how I close everyone. They pick, hey, I want number 2. I'm like, awesome. I shouldn't want to become a client. They pick number 3. I'm like, great. You need to get a license. I'll show you to become a client, and then I show you to help other people. But I actually do that part. You just introduce your friends and family. I do the rest. You make some money too. You're like, cool. And number 4, they get into business with me. How easy is that? Pretty straightforward, right, Michael? Awesome. But I tell them this, I'm like, hey, listen, I picked number 4. Let me show you what number 4 has done for me and my family, okay? Now, please don't laugh. I got into this business in 2010, okay? Just by sharing this same information I just told you, I made 10 grand. I started a little hustle, no big deal, right? 2011, I made 12 grand. That's about 1,000 a month, just sharing this basic information. And I ask most people, what if I just teach you how to get this basic knowledge and you share this with your friends and family and you make $1,000 a month on the site? They'll be like, hey, that would be awesome. That's all they want. Just 1,000 a month, that's it. They're willing to get a license for that. Then 2012, I made 18,000. Then 2013, I made 28. So some of you are going like, shoot, if this guy started at this point, I'm about to be very wealthy. It makes sense. This was my start right here. But after 4 years of studying this platform, I was like, man, we have the chance to change our communities for generations to come. So guess what I did? Something very stupid. I told my wife to quit nursing. I wrote a resignation. And then 1 month after I quit my career, I'm not kidding. So in 2014, I went all in. We left $500,000 of income on the table. I was telling that to Rich Tolly just yesterday. It's like, you're crazy. Rich said he didn't used to make a lot of money, so to replace his income was not that hard. But we're making $400,000 to $500,000 a year already, and then boom, we left it. And my friends were like, you crazy? Like, what's wrong with you? Everyone wants to be like you. You're in Silicon Valley, you're making good money, you have a great career. What's wrong with you? I said, well, I'm stuck at the bottom of the top. Right? But this is what I said. I know some of you have never done farming. My mother was a farmer. I grew up in Africa, so we used to go to the farm. But when my mother would plant corn, for example, she never gets paid for planting the corn, right? She only gets paid when she gets the harvest. But you have to wait. So you plant, no pay, then you wait. The harvest is like 7 to 10 folds. That makes sense? But if she paid someone to plant the corn, we don't give them part of the harvest later on. You guys get it? So I told myself, every time I go to a job and I put in some hours, guess what I'm doing? I'm planting my corn for the business, my time for the business owner, but they never give me part of the harvest. And I understood that if I planted that same time in this business, in this platform to change the community, it's going to pay me down the road because I'm going to participate in the harvest. That's why I was willing to walk away from my career. You guys get it? So I struggled for a little bit, but guess what? 2018, I went up to about 278,000. 2019, 486,000. 2020, $1.1 million. 2021, 1.7. 2022, over $2 million a year right now. How awesome is that? That's your future, by the way. I know some of you are doing this business part-time because you don't really understand what they're doing. You're still planting your time in somebody else's farm. You see how I start is kind of flat? Most of you don't want to do that. We have to do a little bit of this to get this. A little bit of this to get this. You guys get it? Until you do this, you will never get this. In fact, in the last 12 months, this company paid me over $2.3 million. That's over 100 grand a month, every month at least. How would that feel? You make 100 grand this month, then next month, another 100 grand. Boom, next month. Can you at least live the American dream just for once? Yes or yes? This is your future, by the way. That's why I told you, you guys are living the dream. You just don't know it. Or you know it, but you are not doing what you're supposed to do. That's why Nikki said, tell them, shake them up. I'm like, okay, let's try that. Some of us are still messing with this thing. You go in and planting your time with somebody's company and then only give yourself weekends. Seriously? What do you expect? Well, listen, the team that we built, so I'm just telling you the lives that I've impacted. This is my little crazy business right here, my payroll. The last 2 months, over $37 million in commissions. You and I started this same business with $100, $125. All of us started the exact same place. And this is my business in the last 12 months. There's nothing special about me or you. It's just what? I've been here a little bit longer. That's it. And I gave this everything I got. I left everything else. Boom. I put all of my time in this. You have what it takes to do the exact same thing. No different. Does that make sense? Now, lives are being changed big time in our community because of this, right? I'm just going to give you a few examples right here. All this people on my team, by the way. On the top level, Levi is my childhood friend. He and I grew up at the age of 4. We used to walk to school, 5 miles, no shoes, right? So he came to the United States for the American dream. I went to Europe first. He settled for registered nursing. He was making $83,000 a year. He thought he made it already. Then I told him, no, that's not the dream. So he said, okay, let's see what you have. Boom, last 2 months, $3.6 million. Then he brought in a guy called Daniel from, but Daniel was a nurse practitioner making 120 grand a year. He thought he made it too. And then he saw this like, hey, I'm all in. $5.3 million last 12 months. And then Daniel brought a guy called Emmanuel Tita. Emmanuel Tita came to this country. He's been in the US only 5 years. He was a CNA, certified nursing assistant. That was not enough income. Say he worked at Chipotle, $9 an hour. Plus overtime, we added all of his annual income, a whopping $30,000 a year. In the last summer, $1.5 million. Then linear upon 24 months in the business, maybe 25 right now. 75,000 as a registered nurse right now, $1.3 million. Actually, she's almost at 1.5 because I did not pay them. Makes sense? Then Vera, then Emilia. Lots more examples. Question. How do you like your picture on the screen like this? What's stopping you? I say this to people that I knew. I said it's a decision you haven't made yet, but you guys have already made the decision. That's why you're on this call right now. You guys get it? The only thing that I believe is stopping each one of us is that we're not doing the stuff we're supposed to do. That's it. There's no secret that you need to know. Make sense? Now, the key is what? Most of us get stuck in this company. Why? Because we came in probably with the notion that we just want to maybe replace our income or do something. That makes sense? It was kind of personally motivated. But the truth is that if you focus on that, you're going to limit yourself. Because it's very easy to hit any milestone you set in the company. A lot of people get stuck just because they have the lifestyle that they wanted. It comes very easily. But if you focus on what you want, you're going to get stuck. If you focus on helping other people, you never stop. That's what vision is. Now, don't get me wrong. Every one of us has goals, right? I need you to write down your goals. What income you want to make, what kind of house you want to live in. But the only way you're going to get those goals is to help other people. That's called vision. Who do you need to help to get what you want? Does that make sense? It's that simple. So we have what we call Vision 2020. If you wear glasses, it means perfect vision, right? I call it the freedom decade. We've decided that in the next decade, we're going to change our community in 3 main ways. Number 1, we're going to add $1 trillion of wealth. Now, one of the things I didn't understand was that life insurance is probably one of the most powerful tools for building wealth in this country, but they don't tell you that. So, Michael, if I said it with a $1 million policy with living benefits, if you get sick, it pays you, but if you don't get sick, you check out, it pays your family, that $1 million is guaranteed. But if you go buy a house for $1 million, you own a mortgage for $1 million, not the house. You guys get it? But if I give you a life insurance policy, you actually own the $1 million. If you buy a house, you get stressed with the house, they take it away. If you buy insurance, you get stressed, they pay you the money. Which one is better? You guys hear what I just said? If you take your money, you go buy a house, you want to build where you go buy a house, guess what? When you get stressed, you can't pay, guess what? They take it away. But if you buy insurance, you get stressed, they give you the money. But they don't tell us stuff like that. So if I help Micah, I help 1,000 people, 1,000 and 1 million is 1 billion. If 1,000 of my agents help 1,000 people, 1 million, 1,000 and 1 billion is $1 trillion of wealth. That's so easy to do, it's unbelievable. You don't have power to change our communities for generations to come, but they will not tell you that. That makes sense? So that's the one step. Number two is my personal passion. Because I grew up in Africa, I'm the last of 8 siblings. I never knew my father. Number two, my mother passed away in a car accident when I was 16 years old. But I made a commitment I was going to make a difference in the community whenever I could. But I just went and studied. But now that I know the truth, how to become wealthy, how to create wealth, I've said in the next decade, I'm going to help 10% of 1.4 billion Africans become financially free. I want you to think for a second, whether you're from Africa or not, you like me, we came same background, okay? If there are 140 million Africans that are financially free, what kind of impact do you think they can do to the continent? Unreal. Now, Michael, if I said, I don't care where you were born, let's go to Africa, we're in a global environment, let's go control the money of 140 million people, what's that going to make us? Filthy wealthy. Would you come? Absolutely, I hope so, right? And then the last one, guess what? I already told you, without the license, you can't make any money, the financial license. So we want to have at least 1 million people in our communities get a financial license. Because until you have that license, you cannot talk wealth. You guys get it? That's what we call Vision 2020. This vision is happening as I'm speaking to you right now. They're going to write books about it. They're going to make movies about it. I have a question for you, and ask it to anyone I share this with. Question, would you rather just read about this to be a part of it? Guess the answer I get all the time. 100% they want to be part of this. No question. Why is this important? You recruit to your vision. If you don't have a vision, you're going to struggle to recruit. You guys get it? If you went to a job setting, which we used to have jobs, and you go to an interview, let's say they like you. They go like, okay, is it Serena? They say, Serena, I want you to ask some questions right now. We like you very much. Ask us some questions. And let's say Serena is very smart. She says, hey, where do you see this company 5 years from now? Serena, I'll meet you someone, answer this to me. And this is what they tell you, Serena. This Sarita, I hope I'm saying this correct. Sarita?
Yes. Yes.
Sarita, answer this question to me. If they said, Sarita, to be honest with you, we don't know where this company is going to be 5 years from now. We might run out of money. Would you take the job?
No.
No, exactly. Why do you guys want someone to follow you in your business when they don't know where you're going? What kind of vision are you telling people that you want to recruit to your business? What do you tell them? Or you're not sure you're going to make it, but you want them to quit their career to come with you? Seriously? Would you do it?
Yeah.
No. So if you struggle to recruit, it's because you have no vision. And you have no vision because you're focusing on what you want, your goals, rather than on the impact you can make on other people. They say if you chase money, it's going to run away. But if you chase helping people, money is going to follow you. You guys get it? I know it's a very subtle thing to understand, but if you have a vision in this business, your life will change. If you don't, you're going to struggle. So you have to have a vision that you're passionate about. Eric Olsen is my upline, Zach Rice is my upline, but guess what? They both have visions at their level. But even though I'm part of the vision, I'm not necessarily passionate about what they say because that's for them. Does that make sense? So I have mine. My point is what Nikki has a vision, but each one of you have to have your own vision you're passionate about. That's how you're going to recruit people. The passion that you talk about your vision, people go like, hey, this person knows where they're going. I want to follow them. Does that make sense? If you don't have that, you're going to struggle to recruit and to build a business. This is very fundamental, what I'm telling you right now. I heard from Dr Kwende, he said that if you want to win in business overall, you need to think at the third level. What's the third level? Vision, mission, and system. Now, in normal life, in normal business, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, for example, they have a vision, they have a mission, and then they take time to build what? A system. In WFG, we actually have a mission already, no family left behind. We have a system. Guess what WFG doesn't give you? A vision, that's it. So how did our business explode? I started understanding that. I started talking about vision. Boom, everything changed. I can tell you with confidence that the only thing that truly separates anyone in this company is whether you have a vision or not. And how big the vision is. And how passionate you are about the vision. If you can fix that part and you just follow the mission and the system, game over. You guys get it? Anyway, you have to change how you think to grow rich. That's the key, right? Now, most of us love being in our comfort zone, but everything that you really want is just outside of your comfort zone. All the big dreams, financial freedom, success, well, whatever, it's absolutely just out of your comfort zone. The question is, how do you get out of your comfort zone? I'm going to give you 2 strategies real quick. Number 1, I want you to think about everything that you hate to do. Whether it's making phone calls, prospecting, whatever. Think about anything you hate to do, write it down. Every day, do exactly what you hate to do. You're going to get out of your comfort zone, you're going to start winning. That's number 1. Number 2, who likes adversity? But you need adversity to be uncomfortable. Is that correct? Adversity makes you uncomfortable. So guess what? You have to shift your mindset about adversity. Every time I have adversity, I'm excited because I know I'm going somewhere. It's going to make me get out of my comfort zone. Those are 2 simple things you can do to change your comfort thinking. You cannot get what you want by staying in your comfort zone. It's not possible. You guys get it? Now, the key, though, is something that I learned from Rich Tolley. Very, very simple, extremely powerful. He says, and I write this and I teach my team every day, the willingness to do the same simple thing over and over again is going to make you a millionaire. I know you guys think that business is boring, because if Nikki asked me to talk to you right now, I'm telling you almost the same thing I've told to almost any other team. Why? It's the same simple thing, but if I say it enough time, people are going to catch it, they repeat it, boom, I duplicate myself. I used to do complicated stuff. I used to make things I put in people, but when I made those things, guess what? My payment was more of the excitement of doing something unique, right? But in this case, where I can repeat the same how to close, how to help someone in the business, set up a plan, the same thing over and over, I duplicate myself, boom, that's how I become free. Okay? If you do something that's exciting, that's your pay. Our business is boring so you get paid in money. It makes sense. So don't want it to be exciting, just do it over and over again. Now, and my next say is, if you want massive results, I'm assuming all of you want a better big business, you have to keep things simple. If you look at what I just showed you, that's actually my entire presentation. I actually do what I just showed you right now. Okay, it's not that hard. At the end of the day, people have 4 options. They pick one and I'm good to go. That's it. Yeah, I used to make it very complicated too. So real quick, just so you keep this in mind, what's the focus of the WFG business? I know we go so deep and we do all this stuff and then we forget the fundamentals of the business. Every time I promote an SMD, I teach them this part again. Yeah, so I'll show you real quick because there's a reason why I'm showing you. The primary objective of our business is to do what? To grow the size of your licensed field force. I call them financial outlets. But guess what? Those outlets have to be what? Profitable. That's why Nikki's, I saw the recognition, okay, brought somebody in, you have to help them get a license, and they have to make sure that they actually make some money. We don't override a license that doesn't make money. It makes sense. You're not going to override one either. If you bring somebody in, you get them licensed, you need to train them. You know what to do. That's why you guys are on this call right now. You guys get it? And then, what's the training though? It's focused in 2 main areas. Number 1, you have to transfer your belief. That's why you have to have a vision and mission. Okay? If I talk to someone about my belief, about what I see, how to change the content, whatever. That's what they want to go like, wow, I want to be like that. They want to believe what I believe. But the second part is what you have to transfer skills. So we teach you how to prospect, how to, present, whatever. Those are all skills that anybody can learn. You're going to transfer knowledge and strategy. That makes sense? That's all when you talk about the training right here, okay? But you have two key challenges in the business. The first one is called recruiting. Most of you don't like to recruit. I'm not sure why, but every time we get recruited at the job, we celebrate it. We don't want to recruit anyone in our own business. You guys get it? So when you recruit, though, you don't make any money. The only time you make money is when you produce, right? That's where your money comes in. So even though we say recruit, just recruiting people doesn't pay anyone any money. You pay WFG, but not us. The only time you and I make money is if we actually help someone. It's called production. So you have to master both. Yes? And then 4 things you have to master in the business. Very simple. And I just reiterate this so you understand how simple the business is. We talk about what? Prospecting and recruiting. You have to master that. Okay? On a personal level. And then field training and leadership development. Those are the only 4 things you need to know. That's it. Prospecting, recruiting, field training, leadership development. That's it. Question to you. How good are you in each of these 4 areas right now? You can rate yourself, and if you feel like you have deficiency in any area, then seek for help in that area particularly. We have to be good in these 4 areas right now. That makes sense? Why? Because our system actually tells you what to do. There are only 3 key pillars. Number 1 is called the Big 5. I just told you. Prospect, recruit, field training, leadership development. That's what you have to know on a personal level. Then the second part of our business, second pillar is called the BPM system. That's a meeting system, a seminar. When you have seminars, you're going to have guests. So that's all, as you guys were seeing how you're tracking, you tally, I think it says rally the tally. I like that title, right? You want to see how many people I introduce, I invited to the BPM, because that's how you leverage. Does that make sense? Then the last one is called big events. We do big events all the time. Right now, this is kind of like a big event in a way, if you want to think about it. But when we do BPM, different things that we do, we have convention, whatever. Those are big events. You have to rally your people to those things. Okay? Because that's where people make decisions. But what this boils down to is what? You have to be good with people, because we move people through all these things right here. So if you're good with people, guess what? You're going to be good with the business. It's really people's business, not a money business. Okay? But the fundamental of the business, and this is why sometimes I worry what we actually do. All that we do is that we recruit someone, we get them licensed, and then we show them how to help the family. That's it. Then you recruit the next one, you help them get a license, you show them how to help the family. That's the whole business. Question, do you need a bachelor's degree to do this? You need a high school diploma. You need a PhD. You guys see why we can recruit anyone? Because this is all we do. Is that simple? Is that simple? Nikki, you can let me stop anytime, right? Because this is my point. I can tell you a lot of stuff today, but it's not about how much information you hear. It's about what you take and use. You guys get it? I could stop my presentation in 5 minutes or in 25 minutes or in 1 hour. It doesn't make any difference. I don't expect you to remember everything I told you. I expect you to take 1 or 2 things and actually apply it. So Nikki, whenever you feel like it's time, just stop me like, boom, yeah, we'll go to Q&A. But it's not about how much
you're good. You're good. We're dialed in. You're good.
Okay? But this is the whole business, by the way. You recruit someone, you go help them get a license, get them out to every family. Then you do it again. I have some leaders that are making like 400,000 already. They go like, I want to hit my $500,000 million. I'm like, don't focus on that. Just do the business. Recruit the next person, get them licensed, help a family. Recruit the next one. Let me be honest with you guys. I've only run for 1 title in this company. 1. I ran for SMD. That was it. After that, I never ran for anything. I did not run for EMD. I didn't run for my 250 ring. I didn't run for 500. I didn't run for $1 million. I didn't run for CEO, EVC. None of those I didn't. They just came, but I was doing the business of the business. You guys get it? If you do this enough times, all those things are just going to come. They're all stepping stones, but not the outcome. You guys get it? I've never run for anything outside of SMD. Never. I just do the business. I just help the people, help my team. That's all I do. Okay? Now, the business itself is super simple. I said to keep it simple. All that we do is what? If you come into a business, you have to get a license. That's the first step. Anybody that comes in needs to have a license. Is that true? Then after they have a license, they're going to go through a little background check. That's how they get on our WFG platform. This is how they get exposed to all those companies that we use. Is that true? Yes. So our business has some, way of getting into it. That's the license first. Now, once you get the license, guess what? You are allowed to share 3 things with a potential client. Number 1, you have to educate them on the rules of money, how the banking system works. Number 2, you're going to show them how to skip the bank. Instead of getting 0.1%, they can get 8. Does that make sense? And number 3, because you're licensed, you're allowed to hold their hand through the process. That's it. Then you don't charge them anything. They get 8%, you get 2. They get 8%, you get 2. How awesome is that? Why is this important? Because some of you tell me, oh, they said they want to go research WFG. If I share this way, what did I have to research about WFG as a client? I never have that question. Oh, let me go research. What are you researching? I said, I'm going to help you place you with the third-party company. That has nothing to do with my business platform. If you want to be in business with me, then yes, we'll talk about the platform. But short of that, you have no business with my platform. You guys get it? But it's how simply you explain it. Okay? Now, who likes to explore their business? I should see all the hands up right now. I asked this question to a guy called, what's this guy right now? That we just have, doing all the main training. I forget his name. You see my convention, talking about, gosh, what did I forget his name right now? But, Nick, I forgot his name. He's teaching all of this.
Barry Ryan?
Exactly. Thank you so much. I don't know why his name just went out of my mind. So Barry Ryan. So the first time he came, they said to interview some leaders. And interview me.
It doesn't end at 8 to 5. We work all the time.
And at the end of the interview, I said, Barry, you've been mentoring companies for 32 years. Give me the bottom line. What's the deal? He said that.
Thank you, Gracie. Thank you, Doctor.
There's somebody in the background, not knowing that we're listening to them. Okay. Okay. So he said you need to have 3 things. And this slide is kind of messed up a little bit, right? But he said that 3 things you need to know to blow up your business. He said you have to have a vision. I already told him why that's very important. Okay. But the second thing he said, you have to have what? You have to have the skills, the know-how. So guess what we do? We teach you the skills all the time. How do you prospect? How do you recruit? How do you filter? That's something we do in every training. The last part says confidence or conviction. That's the part that's usually missing for most of us. But those 3 elements are required to blow up your business. I'm going to break it down for you real quick. Okay. Vision, you have to have a clear vision. I already told you why. Okay, mine is called Vision 2020. And you have to be passionate about the vision that you have. Why? That's what you use to recruit and attract people to your business. We're good so far. Number 2, confidence. You have to have conviction. And this is the key. You have to have confidence in what we do for people. That's part of our crusade, right? We also have to have knowledge. That's why we ask you read books, financial books about what we do, so you have more insight. But most importantly, you have to become a client. What does that mean? When somebody comes in, we have to make them a client, not just because we have to make money, because that's what makes them see the value of what we do. It increases their confidence. So by you bringing people and not making them clients, how will you sell shoes when you don't have shoes on yourself? That doesn't work. How do you tell me that you're helping family, but your family is not helped? So everyone that comes in, you have to what? Make them a client just to build their confidence, not just because you want to make money. It's even more important to build their confidence in what we do. They have the best insight to our products when they become a client. So you'll be shortchanging someone you brought in without making them a client. Does that make sense? And then if you have personal experiences, that makes a huge difference as well about what we do. And then obviously the last thing is the skills. You have to learn to share your story. Every story is going to impact lives. I just shared you my story in a very brief way. Every one of you has to master your own story. Okay? But bottom line is this. I kind of changed this. I'm almost done right here. I have a couple more slides, I believe, at most. You guys have probably heard about someone we say join, own, and share. Who said that before? We change.
Andre,
We changed it to own, join, share. And I know sometimes people go like, how is the same 3 words? No, it's not the same. Okay. Let me tell you how important this is. They used to say join, then you own, then you share. And then we change it to own, join, share. Okay. And I'll tell you why real quick. This is the key. Is it true that everyone needs some financial help? Yes. But not everyone is supposed to join our business. So if you start by joining, guess what? You're taking out all the people that just need to own the product. Hello, let me say that again. If you focus on people joining first, you cut out all the people that just need to own the product. But if you focus on owning, everyone needs help with financially in some way, right? But only some people need to join. That makes sense? So the way they started with the join, it cuts out a lot of people. You start with owning, everyone needs some financial help, but only some of them need to join. Okay? And then lastly, all of them are going to share. It doesn't matter what they do. If you only own, you're going to give us some referrals. But if you join, you're going to give us a prospect list. You guys get it? Either way, all of them are going to share. So how you start changes your business totally. If you start by trying to join, you're going to cut out a lot of people. If you start with owning, you have more people to work with. Unless it's sort of different, but it makes all the difference if you ask me. So real quick, I'm going to share a quick story and then we'll be done. Maybe a couple. Okay. So when I joined the business, I used to live, across one of my neighbors who went to the same church. I think I'm going to put this down. Okay. So I went to the same church and we did like a little, promotion thing. And we said, oh, if you did 5 policies, I don't remember what, you're going to be MD. So the guy did. He had his 19-year-old son. So he wrote a policy for his son. Okay. And then some Sunday, I got a text from his wife. They were living right across opposite to our house in South San Jose. And he said, our 20-year-old son just died in a car accident last night. I was like, what? So I went out to check. Their son was out driving, and I think he went and dropped the phone about 3 a.m. And then he was driving, boom, he lost control. He hit a tree, the car burned to ashes. They couldn't even identify him. But in that little run that we did, he set up a policy for his son. It wasn't much, like $125,000, that was it. But because he and I went to the same church, some of the pastors from the church came to his house and I saw them. So they prayed with him. And then they said, so now what? What are you going to do? He said, well, I set up a little plan for my son for his future. It's like life insurance. I have some money I'm going to get from that. And they were like, so your son was 19. Why did you set up a policy for him? It's like, hey, they just asked me to do it, so I did it. That little check changed their entire lives. Now, the son could have passed away either way. Does that make sense? But just because we did what we did for him, they moved to Colorado, they bought a couple of homes, they started changing their entire lives. But I'm just saying what the stuff that we do absolutely, absolutely matters. You have to understand that and not take it lightly. One other story, before I left my corporate job, my CEO was very good friends with me. He's a much older guy. So I told him, hey, I'm going to be leaving the company, but I'm going to go into the financial space. I'm going to teach people how to create wealth and transfer wealth. He's like, hey, I have my one son. I have about $500,000 I want to pass on to him. So how can you help me do that? I said, that's a no-brainer. I said, all you have to do is that we're going to set up $1 million policy on you. You're going to put $100,000 a year for 5 years. If you don't touch any of the money, your son gets $1 million, worst case scenario, tax-free. But if you choose to take out your $500,000 over time, you can still live in $500,000 tax-free. He's like, that's genius. He said, let's start the process. So I did. I submitted applications for him, $100,000 a year to Park Life, and for the wife, $50,000 a year. Guess what happened? Park Life denied him the application, the policy, the application. So then he went to his doctor to check. Do you know that that guy had stage 4 lung cancer? I didn't even know. And because of what we did, he went and checked. Now they told him that he started taking care of his health. But this is a crazy part though. 8 years back, as a CEO, he was between jobs. So he got a term insurance policy for $2 million for 10 years. So this was 8 years in. So now they diagnosed him with stage 4 lung cancer. I want you guys to think, if you were the spouse, what were you thinking at that point? If he's going to die, he better die in the next 2 years.
Exactly.
Don't laugh, this is the truth. Is that crazy or what? What if I knew that guy a lot earlier? Be a whole different outcome. Do you guys realize that what we do actually matters? Please, don't take this opportunity lightly. We can change lives in a very significant way. Truthfully, I feel very fulfilled about my life right now, right? I used to make good money in my regular job, but this is better, right? This last 30 days, I've been to Ghana, I went to Africa, been to Texas, I've been around the whole place. I've been traveling like the whole time. My team doesn't even see me. And the community paid me over $250,000. And my boss didn't call me. And my wife was not panicked, right? My kids are like, hey, they're doing their stuff. Does that make sense? We have an amazing opportunity to change our lives and our family's life for Jacob. Please don't take this lightly. Nikki, listen, I want to appreciate you for bringing me to talk to your team. Hopefully, I share something that can change somebody's thinking about the crusade of what we do and why we have to be in a hurry to win here. I'm going to pass it back on to you, Nikki. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. I mean, doctor, that was incredible. I mean, absolutely every point that I wanted you to touch on. I just want to ask you a couple of questions. I'm very curious about, when we look at people on our team, we have over 100 people on the call right now. The majority of the people on this call right now, Dr. Kwende, they're selling the product, but they don't believe in the product. And I know they don't believe in the product because they don't own the product, right? And if they do own the product, they've got like 100,000 policy, 200,000 policy. It doesn't have long-term care. And so you coming from Africa, where they don't have stuff like this, you have such a different perspective about how awesome this product is. And it's hard to show someone something that you're not doing. So can you speak for a few minutes about that idea, that knowledge?
Ooh, Nikki, you just gave me some chills right there. Okay. So let's be real. Nikki, do you want me to be like real?
Real, like, yeah, real.
Okay. Do you guys realize that what we do is the best way to build wealth? Do you guys realize that? And you guys told me that you are not allergic to wealth. Is that correct? Good. So if you give somebody a policy, let me be real. You set somebody up with policies, and let's say they pay you $100,000 a year. Say, is that true? And you do that for 10 years. How much do you make? 1 million. Yes? But how much do you actually have? This is my point. If you set up a policy for yourself for $1 million right now, boom, but you want to wait for 10 years to make $1 million, which one is easier? Hello? Which is easier? To make 100,000 for the next 10 years, or to have $1 million for your family right now?
$1 million right now.
$1 million policy.
Right now.
So if you don't have a policy, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
You're trying to be smart? Nika, I'm going to show this. I don't like to. Probably I really shouldn't.
But you should.
Maybe I should. Please don't take a picture of this. Just hear me out real quick.
Okay.
You see right here? This is my family's family bank. You see right? I just set up a policy 2 months ago, $19 million. I pay about $140,000 a year to do that. If I put 100,000 and 50,000 even a year for the next 20 years, that's $3 million, and I'm guaranteed 19 million for my family.
Mm-hmm.
How awesome is that?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. What would I have to do to give my family $19 million in the next 10, 15, 20 years? You guys see what I just showed you? That's how powerful it is what we do. If you don't get it, you can go out and do what you have to, but you are missing the point. The best way to build wealth is to be in control of what you do. If you get paid in the business, you should take that money and what? Buy wealth for your family.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Don't tell me you want to become wealthy by just getting paid commission. They're not going to pay you fast enough to create wealth. You guys see what I'm saying? Seriously. The best way for you to build wealth is for you to have protection for your entire family.
Mm-hmm. And when
Each
you
of my kids have at least 5 policies, each one of them.
right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I told you guys, I grew up, I didn't have a father. My mother passed away when I was 16 years old in a car accident. But I told myself, I'm going to make my kids' life different. They're not going to be like mine. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying it, I'm actually doing it right now, thanks to this amazing company.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't be so close and still missing.
Right.
Stop praying. Take some action. Okay? We're going to pray after you win it. God already answered your prayer, but you have to act.
That's right. So this month we are working on every agent redoing their FNA and with their trainer, right? Not doing their own plans, not selling themselves their own stuff, but redoing their plan with their trainer, finding where the holes are, finding where the gaps are, because that really increases the amount of the policies that you're able to offer to other clients too, depending on what you own and what you're committed to doing for your family. So that was really important. What would you say to an agent who has fear of running appointments in their warm market?
So where else would you want to run appointments if you don't run in your warm market? Listen, this is a trick that I know about the business. There's something called the top 100 list, which is supposed to be a warm market, correct? How many people actually do that? Like actually do the list, the top 100 list? How many of you actually do it? A few hands. You are shooting yourself in the foot by not doing that. Okay? Nikki, let me see. I wasn't going to show this, but let me see if I have it. I'll show it real quickly. Because this is key.
Mm-hmm.
We thought you should talk about this all the time, and then we totally missed it. And then at some point, I was like, wow, this makes sense. So I started doing it, right? And pushing it. And it's made all the difference in our business. And I'll show you guys real quick how powerful this is. Okay?
Sometimes we have to be ready to hear things. So we miss it in the beginning, and then the timing is everything.
That is true. That is true, right? So some of my agents actually, they went like, oh, we want to make quick money, so we're going to go to FF, whatever. What do you guys call it? FFL or whatever. Family first.
By
like,
leads.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys are little dummies, but that's okay. And I was talking to Mario Bayona just this morning. And I said, there's something that we do that we don't pay attention. Now, in our business, Nikki, we said we have what? Prospects, right?
Right.
But some of my agents said they want to go buy leads. I'm like, great. But I started to talk about leads. Don't we all need leads in any business? Every business needs leads. Is that true?
True.
You can either pay for leads or you get them for free. What would you rather have?
Get for free?
Get it for free, of course. Okay. Now, in life, you can live life one of two ways. You can either start life easy, then it gets hard, or you start it hard, then it gets easy. What would you rather have?
Hard than easy.
What if I told you that your WFG business might start a little hard, but it gets easier?
It's true.
Would you be okay with that?
That would be the truth.
That would be the truth. Warm market, what does that mean? It means we have trust and credibility with it. Is that true?
True.
Good. Now, please pay attention right now. So what is our lead generation system? This is crazy, but it's true. Yeah, if you understand this, your entire life is about to change. You bring a new person in, a new recruit. Okay? You ask them to do their top 100 list. Now, if they approach and contact this top 100 correctly, there's what they call the 10% rule. You call 10, 6 say they're going to show up, 3 show up, 1 joins the business. We good? We call that a 10% rule. So out of 100, how many are you going to recruit? 10. Guess what you do with the 10? You ask them to each give you what? Their 100 list. So now what's 10 times 100?
1,000,000.
1,000 warm leads. You approach and contact this 1,000 correctly. Guess how many you're going to recruit? 10%. 100. You guys get it? What do you do with the 100? You ask them, take out your cell phone, whatever, give me 100 names. How many names do you now have warm leads? 10,000. Yes?
Yes.
What do? You approach and contact the 10,000. How many do you recruit? 1,000.
1,000.
Guess what you do with the 1,000? Take out your phone, give me 100 names. How many do you now have? Warm leads. 100,000. How many do you recruit?
10,000.
10,000. Let me be real with you guys. I showed you guys this, but you didn't see it. In the last 12 months, my whole business recruited over 9,700 people. Last 12 months so far. In 1 year. But how many leads do you think I created when I started? 1. 100 names. Question for you. If I told you that you can give me 100 names and I'm going to make you 10,000 recruits, would you give me 100 names?
Yes.
Would you only give me 100 names? Question, would you rather go to FFL and buy 10,000 names or get 100 and get it for free?
That's right.
By the way, if I were to pay for 10,000 and 125,000 each, $125 each, how much is that? You guys get 1.25 million or whatever. Guess what? That money is still paid, but not from my pocket. There's no free lead anywhere. But guess what? I don't have to pay for it because I understand the game.
That's right.
The only thing I don't get the 10,000 if I don't do 100. Question, how many of you are willing to do the 100? That's like planting seed to get the 10,000.
You know, one of my agents, Delilah, and I were just talking, recruiting a guy from Families First. And he said he kept paying for leads, but none of them ever turned into a client. He's just putting money out. None of them became a client. So it was a lose-lose proposition over there. So true.
If you guys truly know what we're sitting on, man, you'd be like on fire right now.
Yeah. Dr. Kwende, I want to introduce you to my CEO, Christopher Schleiman, who's on with us today as well. And I just wanted to I want to make a proper introduction because this has been my mentor and my trainer from the beginning, and he's such an awesome guy. And I wanted to give him an opportunity to meet you, but also to ask you a question or two as well.
Sure. Hey, Chris, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Hey, the pleasure's all mine. Mad respect and admiration goes out to you, Dr. Kwende. You've not only set an unbelievable example and inspired so many, but you do such a great job of, I believe, really articulating our cause, articulating our crusade, and really sharing it in a way that is contagious. It's contagious. And it's, I think sometimes we get caught up counting apps and points and AMAs and recruits, and it's easy in the competitive field that we're in to lose nature of these are human beings. These are like families. These are precious souls that we're really making a tremendous impact on. And what's just so evident every single time I've heard you speak is you never get off that message. Like you never get distracted from what we're really doing, the difference that we're really making. And so I just really, really appreciate that. I've been doing this 23 years, and you're one of those guys that I listen to, and it's still like, it gives me sort of the chills, and it brings me back to really what I fell in love with from the very, very, very beginning.
That's Chris. I appreciate that coming from you. That's
The majority of the people on the call today, they're at that survival stage in the business that you're well aware of. They're anywhere from newly licensed to making, 20, 25 grand a year in the business. They've got a couple of guys showing up to meetings. They're writing a couple of apps a month. They're part-time, If you're just to give them 2 or 3 talking points, like, hey, if you want to make a major move between now and the beginning of the year to really position yourself for all the good things that can happen to you in the new year, what are the 2 or 3 things that you would really, what's this 2 or 3 skills that you would master? And B, what are the 2 or 3 things that you would really get focused in on if you're still part-time, but you want to make that kind of move going into the new year?
Well, that's a great, question, Chris. For those of you that are kind of new, because all of us passed through the same stage, right? All of us started the business as training associates. So there's no one here that started better. We all started the same at some point, right? This is my question.
100%.
I don't care where any one of you are, you start as a TA in this company, right? So this is my question to you. I want someone to volunteer because I want to help. So by talking to someone real quick, whether it's Paul, I don't know who, but who wants to kind of role play me real quick? Let me just demonstrate something real quick.
So what's a role play with him real quick?
I'll do it.
Lamar
Smith, LA.
Good. Lamar, how are you, sir?
Doing fine. Doing fine.
Wonderful. So how long have you been in the business?
About 2 years. So December will be 2 years.
Okay. Do you feel like you're where you wanted to be at this point in the 2 years you've been in the business?
I wish I was a lot further.
Good, because everyone does. I wish I was a lot further still, even at this point. Does that make sense? Question though, are you doing this part-time or full-time?
Part-time.
Exactly. Let me ask you a question. Now, we can be straight with each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you did your job part-time, would they even allow you to do it?
Oh, not at all.
Not at all, exactly.
Not at all.
Now, think about it. How long have you worked in your job?
I mean, my job is a sales rep, so.
I know. So how long have you done that?
2 months.
Wait. What did you do before?
Before that, I worked at a temp agency as a law clerk, like as an office clerk. And then before that, I was at Staples.
Good. So how well have those things worked for you financially?
Terrible. It's
Terrible.
better than it was at first, but definitely terrible.
Good. So this is my question to you. Based on your experience so far, do you think it's going to get better or the same or worse?
Probably better.
No, in those jobs, if you kept doing the job that you're doing right now, do you think it's going to get better or worse?
Oh, it's not going to get much better.
Exactly. You already know that that's not going to work out. Why do you keep doing it? You already proven to yourself that those things are not going to work out. Why do you keep doing it? Why are you spending time doing something you already know to yourself that's not going to work out?
I mean, I guess because it's easy.
It's not easy. Listen, Lama, somebody asked me the same question. They go like, how come you quit your career have $1 million a year to go do this? Where do you get the courage? Lama, do you know that it takes a lot more courage going to do something you know is not going to work out than me doing something I know is going to work out? You know what you're afraid of? You just want to stay comfortable. What did I already tell you? Everything you want, Lama, is out of your comfort zone. All you need to do is allow yourself to get a little uncomfortable. Your life will change. Lama, what if you gave all your time to this business? And let's say 1 year from now, you have 500 licensed agents on your team. How would your life look like?
It will look like what I've always dreamed of. Like,
so
being able to make the type of impact.
What's stopping you from doing it then? What does Nikki or Chris have to do?
I mean, I have to put the work in to develop the skills.
Exactly. No, you have to make a decision. You have to tell yourself, hey, I'm deciding today that I'm going to make a change. And that change is going to come with a little bit of pain, but I know that the results are going to be absolutely worth it. So I'm going to do it. And even though I'm talking to Lama, I'm talking to every one of you on this call right now. You cannot become financially free by being comfortable. You have to be out of your comfort zone. So you have to seek the things that make you uncomfortable. That's the only way you're going to win. If you keep doing the exact same things, you guys already know the answer to that. So Chris, even though there's a lot of stuff I can say, my point is what everyone needs to just know. If you are doing something you know is not working out, you have to change something about what you're doing to get a different outcome. Is that true?
Yeah.
Don't keep doing the same thing and expect that it's going to be different. It is not. And you're already proven that to yourself. I worked in the corporate job for 20 years at the highest level. So it's not like I wasn't making money. I was making pretty good money. I had a pretty good life, but I knew that my time was not there and it was never going to change. In fact, they were asking me to go become a CEO. And I look at my CEO's calendar, I'm like, there's absolutely no way I'm going to get that kind of calendar. So I said, that's not the route for me. But I had to walk away from all of that to build this. And it didn't happen the first year. It started happening the second, the third. It makes sense. But I was very confident that if I did everything I needed to do on this platform, because I'm building leverage, I was very confident it was going to happen because of the leaders that I have. You guys have amazing leaders, Nikki and Chris. They're here trying to get you guys to win. But guess what? They can only help you if you come halfway. If you stay where you are, like if you're in a hole and you need help, guess what? You have to put your hands up. If you leave your hand down, we're going to pull you from the neck. We're going to kill you. Okay. When you get out of the ditch, you have to put your hands up. If you put your hands up, then we're going to pull you. If you leave your head like this, we're going to kill you. So we're not going to push you or pull you out. If you want to win, you have to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you hearing me?
Mary.
Yeah. You've been here 2 years, so you kind of know this works. You've seen people win, correct?
Yeah.
So why not you? Why not feel like you should be where you need to be?
I'm definitely staying too comfortable.
How well is that working for you right now?
Nope.
I'm not getting the results that I want.
So what do you have to do?
Gotta be a lot more uncomfortable than I'm already in.
That's it. You're going to be uncomfortable for a short while. After that, your life will be different. Otherwise, you're going to be uncomfortable with the rest of your life. Which one is easier?
Being uncomfortable for a little bit is a lot easier.
Let's go, Lamar. Let's go.
So, Chris, I mean, I know I didn't answer your question the way you asked it, but I just want people to think. Remember, I said you have to think to grow rich. The point is we're not thinking about the stuff we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, you had, I think what you did was modeled true leadership, and each individual, you have that conversation with them, and then you can chart their individual course and the short-term goals that they need to achieve. I think that was fantastic. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Well, Dr. Kwende, we have taken up enough of your time this morning. I appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing with us your heart, your vision. It's really inspiring. It's inspiring to see someone create a vision as large as yours is. And that's something that, you know, I'm constantly working on, and I'm constantly looking for people who have become really good at being visionaries. Because like you said, where there's no vision, the people will perish. So when we're talking, are we just reading the words off the page, or are we enrolling people in our vision and where we're going? And that's crucial. I think that's going to be crucial for our team going into this this next year. So appreciate you so much for being on the call today, and we look forward to your continued success. And
thank you, Nikki. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your team. I don't take these things lightly. And Chris, it's a great pleasure getting to talk to you.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, and everyone on this call, please, we have the power by our success, by example, to impact other people's lives. They say that your story is going to change somebody's life. Question for you. Is the story you have right now changing people's lives?
Agreed.
Because we have to make that happen. That makes sense? All of us are an answer to someone else's prayer. Last thing I'm going to say, most of us, how many of you feel like your prayers are not being answered in the time that you want? Good, but this is the trick though. The reason why your prayers are not being answered is because someone has not been obedient to do what they need to do to help you. You agree? But guess what? The reason your prayers have truly not been answered is because you have not done what you're supposed to do for the other people you're supposed to do it to. Who have you not called that you're supposed to call? Who are you afraid to talk to? You put them on your chicken list. They are waiting for their prayers to be answered because you and I have not done what we're supposed to do. Their prayers have not been answered. So guess what? Our prayers have not been answered either. So this is the trick. I want to challenge every one of you on this call right now. Go do all that you're supposed to do to help answer other people's prayers. And then guess what? Your prayers are going to be answered at the same time. We good?
We are
Awesome.
good.
Nikki, I appreciate you so much, Chris. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, you